keep living. High places are things that seem like mountains, incomparable, like they're blocking your path. They're just so high, you got to figure out how to go around and how to go another way. But God says, how we say God says?
God says.
God says the high places,
Yes.
I will.
Yes.
See, the trepidation comes when you think you got it. The fear comes when you think that you have to, because nobody else will. Because everybody else has abandoned you and let you down, and you got the experience of other people saying, yeah. And when it comes down to it, where are they? So by yourself, when you see high places, you take it personal. And you think, this is something that I gotta do, and I don't know how to do it. I don't think that I'm able. I have always failed when it comes to stuff like this. I'm not good at math. Never been good at math. So here's a high place. It is math. I don't know what to do about that. I'm not good at public speaking. I've always been quiet. I've always been shy. So when it comes to telling the goodness of the Lord, I can't, that's just not me. There are high places in each and every one of our lives which are challenges that we think that we have to be up to. God didn't ask you to be up to anything. What He asks you to do is to trust Him, to have faith in Him, to connect with Him. And when you do that, you don't even have to say, as it is written, to yonder's mountain, be thou removed. I'm not that bold. Be thou cast into the depth of this. I don't think that's going to happen. That's not going to work for me. You don't even have to say it. God said the high places that are in your life, the hurdles, the blocks, the things that seem as if you can't go forward, that you're just going to have to live right here. Because there's no future past this point. It doesn't get any better. God said that's a lie. Now, when it is a lie, watch what I do if you trust me to do it. What does that mean? That means to walk like God told Abraham. He said, leave your family, leave your friends, and just begin to walk. Where am I going to go? I'll show you. You know what it means to just start walking with no direction, and God says, I'm going to show you which way to go? Wandering. Well, there's a mountain in my way. Do you know it's nothing for God to turn a mountain into a plain?
Amen.
Now, here's the thing. We'll get to the scripture in a minute. A natural mind says to a natural thing, I connect with you. And you and I can relate. In other words, a natural man looks at a natural mountain and say, ooh, that's a big, pretty mountain. The mountain defines a man as a man. The man defines a mountain as a mountain in the natural. People go around the world to see natural phenomena because they're going to be there. If you're going to go see the Grand Canyon, you can take your time because it's not going anywhere unless what? Unless something that isn't natural speaks to something that is natural. And that thing which was natural, because it's spoken to by that which is not natural, the natural becomes unnatural. And it does something unnatural. If God says let, it is. If God says move, it moves. Mount Everest has always been, people are trying to climb Mount Everest. I'm going there next year. Guess what? If God says let, Everest is gone. Everest turns into a plain. It turns into a valley. Well, that trip is off. You might as well cancel that off your calendar because Everest is no more. I don't care what's in your life. I don't care how big it is, how wide it is, how strong it is. Stick with God. Allow God to go before you. That means you have to follow Him. See, here's the thing about God. See, God can't do anything before you if you're not behind Him. Asking God, okay, come on, catch up. I need you to, here's what I'd like to see. That doesn't work. People that pray those prayers to God, see, this is the way I see it. I want that gone, and I want that bush cut down, and I want that tree. You know, it's a pretty tree. I just want it over here. Now, in the name of Jesus. That isn't the way God works. That isn't the way prayer works. Well, I thought I could name it and claim it and blab it and grab it. That's not the way that it works. It doesn't work like that. But every high place that's in your life, if you allow God to go before you, you will find that you will have no trouble walking the path that God has designed. And God has a path designed for each and every one of you. Put your hands together and give God praise. Germain to the lesson today. Last week we talked about some things. We talked about the family of Abraham, the family of Isaac, the family of Jacob being passed down, the heritage, the family business, right? Family business of Abraham was to obey God. Well, he passed that legacy on to his son Isaac. Isaac had to obey God. That's the family business. Family business was baking, then they would be bakers. Family business was carpenters, then they'd be carpenters. The family business of Abraham was faith. It was obedience. So that's the family business. He handed down to Isaac. Isaac handed it down to Jacob. Jacob got into a situation with an angel that he happened to see. Jacob's name was turned into Israel. And today, generations later, the evidence of Abraham is present in the Middle East. Because there is a country named after a man, Israel, that stands today. And we know that they tried to wipe that, Palestine tried to wipe that country out. Russia tried to wipe that country. They had enemies, and they went to war, and the war lasted 8 days. Israel was surrounded, but Israel won the 8-day war. Nobody could believe it. It's never been a war like that in history, where the little man got surrounded by big men, and the little man won. It's a historical fact. How did they do that? Well, it's because of the family business. It isn't because they had a superior army. It isn't because they had a superior Air Force or Marine. It isn't because what they had was a superior God. Are you listening? Mm-hmm. Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, had 12 sons. And one of those sons became titular in our lesson last week. And I didn't get to finish. I want to go in, but listen, this is one of the, and I use these words, and I'm using these words on purpose. This is one of the most salacious passages in Scripture that you ever did read. It's salacious. It's full of drama and turmoil. They can make a miniseries just out of Genesis 38. They can make a miniseries out of this and this alone. Because the way that people's ears and eyes, what they want, is in this verse. It's in this passage. So I want you to turn to Genesis 38. And I'm going to read quickly over the stuff that we went over last week. I'm not going to re-preach it. I just want to remind you what it says. And then when we get to the point where we left off last week, I'm going to begin to preach a little bit more into the lesson. Amen?
Amen.
And somebody let me know. Who's my wife? Okay, well, somebody let me know. Well, it's 12:22. Let me see. Let me know when it gets to 12:50. Okay. All right. Genesis 36, and it came to pass. It's hard for me to get past that. I get so excited. When I see that phrase. And it came to, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. Whatever the it was, God said something, and whatever it was, it came to pass. I love that. Because time and time again, every time you read that, and it's going to happen more than once. Spoiler alert. Every time God says something, it comes to pass. And I want you to know, this isn't the message today, but I want you to know, God said something about you. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. You don't even have to read it. But God said something about you. What did he say? It kind of doesn't matter whether you know it or not, but because the it that he said about you is coming to pass. Anybody want in on that? Yeah. Anybody want in on that? God has spoken your name, each and every one of you. God has a path and a plan for you. Individually, God has spoken Miguel's name. God has spoken Addison's name. God has spoken everybody's name in this room. He has a path for you. He has a plan for you. And we may not know what that plan is. We may not read that plan. We may not even have a relationship with God. But guess what? God has a plan for you. And it that he has planned for you is going to come to pass. Now put your hands together and give God praise.
Amen.
What am I praising for? It doesn't matter. It's going to come to pass. I need you to understand it's going to come. It's going to happen. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be epic. It's going to be great. Not because you went to school and took the right classes. Not because you got the right grades. It's because God said. Because God said. The quicker you know him, the quicker it's going to happen. Let me move on. It came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren. His brethren were the other 11 boys of Jacob, whose name changed to Israel. Israel had 12 sons. There were 12 tribes eventually. Eventually, each son turned into a tribe. And we talked last week about the northern kingdom, because 11 of those boys got together, and 10 of them got together and formed the kingdom of Israel, which was the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom was called Judah, but they were still part of the same kingdom. The southern portion, Judah and Benjamin, I believe, joined together, and they formed a kingdom by themselves, them two boys. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. They turned to a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw that there was a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shurah. And he took her and went in unto her, and they had a family. And she conceived and bare a son and called his name Er. Why they called him Er, I don't know. Maybe they didn't plan on having him. But every child that's born on purpose. That means nobody's a mistake. All right. Let me get through. Er, and she conceived again and bare a second son, and his name was Onan, and yet conceived again and bare a son, and his name was Shelah. This is really, really significant because in this time, in this culture, boys were recognized, girls were not. Boys were valuable, girls were not. Why? Because the name of the father is carried on by the son. That still happens today, but nobody really thinks about it. That's why we hyphenate names and all kinds of things like that. But the name of the family is really, really important because it's not just the name of the family, it's the legacy, reputation. It's the reputation of the family. It's synonymous, but the word I was looking for. The reputation of a family. Now listen, if your family has a reputation, you know you don't mess with them Redmond girls.
You sure don't.
They can always
Listen, you can say what you want, but there are some things that are just genetic. Some things are genetically passed on. Okay. If one Redmond girl can dance, they can probably all dance. Huh? If one of those Smith boys can litigate, they can probably all litigate. If you got a family of lawyers, they're lawyers for a reason.
Yes.
Because something was passed down to them.
Yes.
If you got a family of dentists,
Yes.
there was something that was passed down to. There's a doctor that my wife goes to, Dr. Hamzabe. He built a crazy practice. Now, he has a friend in Detroit.
Yes.
What's
Heidelberg.
Huh?
Heidelberg.
Dr. Heidelberg. They went to school together. Dr. Heidelberg and Dr. Hamzabe. They went to school together. They built amazing practice. But Dr. Heidelberg in Detroit has a little office. His daughter is a doctor as well. But their little practice stayed little. They make a lot of money in a little place. Dr. Hamzabe has a great practice, but he moved and expanded. And because of the kids that he has, he's got 1, 2, 3, I want to say 4 kids that are now dermatologists as well. And they occupy the practice. And as more people come in, his kids don't have to look for patients because they're still coming in as a result of his father. They got 3 locations. 4 locations. Because it's the family business. The children don't have to build anything.
That's right.
It's already
Built.
Help me say built.
Built.
Help me say built.
Built.
It's the family business, and it's already built. Now here's Abraham, who we call the father of our
Faith.
See, he's got the family business. He starts it. He passed on the business to Isaac. Isaac continued the business. Jacob, whose name is now Israel, he passed on the family business. So by the time Judah comes along, part of the family business is already built. There's a foundation already built. Oh, and he's trying to go and establish a satellite office for the family business. He departs from his brothers. He's in this strange land. He's in the land of Canaanites. But he brings with him the family business. How many know that you can take God with you wherever you go?
Amen.
You know that old song, take the Lord along with you everywhere you go. Take the Lord along with you. Y'all don't like that song?
We don't know that.
I'm just...
It sounds good.
See, Sarah, I sing a lot of old songs, and when they're old, sometimes my age separate, Listen, you're going to need him, so take him with you, right? Not only is the Lord portable, but he's omnipresent. So wherever you take him, he's already there, so you're adding to his presence. That's why David said, listen, don't help me find the Lord, magnify the presence of the Lord with me. So other people will see him as big as he is. You got to have eyes to see and heart to receive and stuff like that. But listen. So when he gets there, he meets this woman. He says, she's going to be a good woman for me to sow my seed. She gives him 3 sons. And 3 sons represents 3 opportunities for his name to continue. For his legacy to continue. And in this culture, you go from a 100% chance with having 1 son carrying your legacy. He now has 3 sons. Mm-hmm. Those are pretty good odds, aren't they?
Yes.
Let me get back to this text.
Jesus.
So Onan, she conceived again and bare a son. His name was Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. Now, that's significant because the Bible says it was significant because it mentions Chezib. We don't have the opportunity to go into why the direction of the message is going to take place, but we're going to continue. And Judah took a wife for Now, I want you to pay attention to this part. The son, didn't pick his own wife.
Right.
Because young men, being young men, fill in the blank. What do young men do?
What young men do?
What do young men do?
Stupid stuff?
Thank you, young man. I was a young man. Guess what happened when I was young? I did stupid stuff.
Right.
I don't even want to tell you I couldn't tell you all the stupid stuff. Anthony could.
You so wrong.
But the stuff that I did. I'm ashamed of most of the stuff that I did. I did it, but at the time I didn't have the mind that I have now. See, the mind is like, the closest thing that I can relate the mind to, because this happens anatomically. The mind is like the organism of the snake. Because when a snake grows, when it outgrows its skin, it sheds it. When your brain grows, the cells that are on the surface of your brain shed. So as your brain continues to grow, it continues to shed. And the part of it that made stupid mistakes is no more because it gets shed. And what's left is the part of the brain that has grown and matured. And when you think with a grown, mature brain, you don't make childish mistakes. talking the other day, you know what children do? They don't remain children all their lives. Otherwise, you'll have a 50-year-old child. What kind of sense does that make? They exist. There are people, you ever met somebody who didn't want to grow up?
Yes.
Let me not stay there too long. So she was at church. And then Judah took a wife for heir. Judah, the father, took a wife for his son. And her name was Tamar Braxton. We went over this. I told you, in this message, last week's message was called Braxton Family Values.
Oh my God.
And because it's Braxton Family, I told you up front that Tony was on tour, so we won't find Tony in this text. Somebody say amen. Amen. But in the Braxton family, see, the Braxtons have a family business. Right?
Yeah.
They got family values, they got family business. And what do the Braxtons do?
They all sing.
They all sing. And guess what? Just because you heard Tony doesn't mean that you heard the because all of them girls, help me say all of them girls.
All of them girls.
Isn't it strange how each and every one of those girls can sing?
That's right.
Huh? Their mama
Yes,
can sing. Well, where do you think the girls got it from?
that's right. That's right.
Don't get this lost on you, but whatever your family is good at, if your family is good at rolling joints, then you know how. I don't say you do it, but you know how, if that's what your family is good at. If your family is good at running cons, that's what you know how to do that, because that's what your family, listen, whatever legacy your family leaves you, you have the ability to do that well. If your daddy's good at stealing cars, some kind of way, you're going to know how to steal a car. Whether you want to or not, you just know how to. If your family's good at locksmithing, and somebody's locked out the house, excuse me, get out the way, I can help you. Because you are uniquely qualified to aid and assist, because that's what your family does. Family here, family Judah, their family legacy, their family business is obeying God. Doesn't mean they do it, it just means they know how. Stick with me. Judah took a wife for heir, his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And because Judah picked Tamar, she was most probably a good girl because she got picked by a good man. See, good men pick good girls. I'm going to let that marinate for a second. Good girls don't pick good men. Let me take a sip of water. Did I say good girls don't pick good men? Why is it that good girls always end up with a bad man and they cry to their girlfriends, I don't know what's wrong with me. They don't like me. It's getting real quiet in here. You know what good girls like? Bad boys. Good girls end up picking bad. Listen, every relationship. Somebody say amen. They'll get out of one and pick the same kind of guy. They'll get in that relationship, pick the same kind of guy. You know why good girls pick bad boys?
Why?
Because the men aren't doing their job. If the men were doing their job, the good girl would have been picked before she made the wrong choice. You ain't got to say amen to that one. I'm just keeping it pushing. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
Verse number 7. Judah's firstborn was wicked in the sight of the Lord. Listen, I told you about the family business. Just because it's a family business doesn't mean that everybody... Listen. If your daddy's a weed man, and you don't sell weed, that doesn't mean you don't know how. Say amen.
Amen.
If your daddy is the cocaine man, and you don't sell cocaine, it doesn't mean that you don't know how.
That's right.
How to mix it down and mix it with the...
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't know the formula, but... Just because Judah is the son of Israel, the son of Isaac and the son of Abraham, just because the family business is obedient doesn't mean heir is.
Yeah.
He didn't follow the family business. So, consequently, Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. I spent a lot of time last week. Please understand, the Lord will slay you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Lord will allow you to get into a situation where you will just end up dead. Sometimes the Lord will kill you himself. Why did God kill Er? Because he didn't follow the family business. He knew how to be righteous. He knew how to be holy. He knew how to be obedient, but he chose not to. The Bible says, mark the perfect man, behold upright, the end of that man is peace. That's good stuff. But when this is the family business has to continue. Huh? Okay. This is significant for me. I'm going to add a little personal thing. The last thing in the world I want to do is a preacher. Last thing in the world. I was at my church the minister of music that was good enough for me. I didn't want to be the minister of anything else. I was happy serving the Lord, but I was happy serving the Lord in the capacity that I chose. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
Problem was, that was not the plan or the job that God had picked me for. And when you choose something other than what God chooses, when he shows you, it's your job. If you don't do it, he takes it personally.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
It's dead. That's what I said.
That's too
In that
personal.
situation, that's that,
When he tells you to do
when he tells
something.
you.
You know what happened to Freddie? Freddie's dead.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
I thought I was going to say, who's Freddie? Exactly.
That'll be pretty bad. And Judah said unto Onan, go unto thy brother's wife and marry her to raise up thy seed for thy brother. Because Er's now dead. Er's married to Tamar Braxton. She ain't Braxton no more. She's married. But because Er didn't give her any children, and the name has to carry on, now, because of the culture, because of the law, the brother now has to step up and take on her as a wife because she has to bear children for the family so the family business can continue. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
So Judah said unto Onan, verse number 8, go unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up the seed of thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he made up his mind, he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest he should give the seed to his brother. And the thing which Onan did, Onan went in, he buried her. He went to consummate. And when it came time to deposit, he withdrew when he should have been making the deposit. Listen, I'm going to make it as plain as we need to these days. These kids know more than what I'm saying. Somebody say amen. And I'm a proponent of learning everything in the right environment. There's things that you shouldn't be learning down in the corner in the dark with a magazine, laughing and giggling with your friends. Listen, that day is so far. Listen, the internet has so far educated our kids more than we want to mature them. I talk to Addison sometimes, my innocent little daughter, about some things. She said, Papa, I already know. And I honestly sometimes don't even want to know how she knew. She just knows. You talk to Caleb Michael be saying, Papa, that's old. Old? It's new to me. My kids tell me, they make me know how far advanced this generation is.
Right.
And how I now have to step my game up. I can't talk to them like they're this little. And talk, you know how our parents used to talk in code.
Right.
Oh, y'all leave me alone. Listen, we're going over on my grandma's house. We're gonna pick up a package, and after we, what's a package?
Money.
It's code
Right.
for money. But they don't say money. They say I don't know why they speak in code. All right, some of y'all, amen. The thing which Onan did, displeased the Lord. To what degree? See, God has laws. And when you break the laws of God, and you treat him like he didn't say nothing to you,
Right.
watch this. The thing that displeased the Lord, therefore he slew him also. He wasn't at work and had a job accident. He didn't fall off his bike and break. God intentionally and purposely slew Onan as he did Er, the second boy in the family that God killed. They weren't accidental killings. They were slayings. God took both of them down personally. Then said Judah to Tamar Braxton. I mean, she's still kind of Braxton because her husbands keep dying. Then said Judah to his daughter-in-law, remain a widow. Remain without a husband. Now, who picked Tamar?
Her father.
Or his father.
He did. Judah did. Judah picked him for Er. Er didn't do, he was a bad man, and God killed him. So now, she's still picked by Judah. He gave her to Onan. Onan didn't do right. Onan's dead. How many boys has he got?
3.
3.
Oh, you got my last.
Judah said to Tamar, stay at Braxton for a little while. Remain a widow at thy father's house. I want you to leave my house. I want you to go to your father's house till Shelah, my younger son, be grown. For he said, and when it says for he said, this, he didn't tell everybody this. It was just kind of like what was on his mind, and he didn't speak his mind, but the Bible, God knows what your mind is, right? For he said, lest peradventure he die also. Talking about Shelah. Because there's something about Tamar Braxton that everybody she gets with dies. And he's worried about Shelah. He ain't worried about Tamar no more. He's trying to send Tamar away. But who picked Tamar?
Judah.
Judah did. All right, now watch this. Peradventure he died also, and his brother, as his brother did. And Tamar went, and she did what he said. She dwelt in her father's house. Now, in the process of time, the daughter of Shua, who's the daughter of Shua? Well, Judah. Judah's wife. Judah's wife died also. Who else died? Well, Er died. Onan died. Now Judah's wife dies. Judah just told Tamar Braxton to go be a widow.
Wow.
Now Judah
His wife.
is a widow. You put 2 and 2 together? Because he didn't. He didn't. You know how I know that? Let me just show you. I told you it's salacious. Watch this. The daughter of Judah's wife died also. And Judah was comforted. How your wife gonna die and you gonna be comforted? How does a widower, after his wife died, become comfort? His wife is dead. How is he gonna find comfort? Where does a widower find comfort? Anybody?
And another woman.
Woman, yeah.
In another what?
Woman.
In another woman. His woman dead and gone,
Right.
but he comforted.
And she said, there.
That means somebody started rubbing on his head and greasing his scalp, comforting him. Can I be plain? See, sometimes you can read the Bible and not like catch everything. I'm gonna just open some stuff. I told you this was salacious. Are you with me? The daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted. How? Well, he went up. Tell you how. Watch this. He went up unto his sheep shearers up to Timnath. He went and found some boys. He went and found a crew. And you know what boys do when they get together and they're not married? None of them. When they get together, you know, they do what? Huh? Over 50?
It's 12:50.
It's 12:50 already?
Yes.
Oh my God! I'm gonna have to finish this next week.
Is there?
Huh? What'd you say? Are you helping me, Cam? So Judah's comforted. He went to his sheep shearers up to Timnah, and his friend Hira, the Adulamite. So they went and had boys' night out, which resulted in Judah's comfort. And it was told Tamar, saying, "Behold, thy father-in-law goeth to Timnah again." You know, he's going to go wash the shear the sheep. Some of you, amen.
Amen.
When you got a boys club and everybody wash their car at the same time, you better go with your husband, boyfriend, fiance, and see what's going on. See who they meeting up at the car wash. Y'all don't like me. It's some. Let me try to close this out for today. So it was told Tamar, saying, "Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah." Now she's in her father's house, right? She's playing the role of widow. And what do widows wear?
A veil.
They wear a veil and they wear what color?
Black.
They wear black. So she put her widow's garments off from her and covered herself with a veil and wrapped herself. You ever seen a wrap dress? What does a wrap dress look like?
Right.
How much of you does it show?
All of you.
It shows, because it's wrapping you, it shows everything that you have.
All your bumps and bruises.
Wrap dresses up, so she wraps herself in some cloth, covered herself with a veil, wrapped herself, and sat in an open place. I don't have time to preach it. Which is, by the way, to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and he was not given, she was not given unto him to wife. So when Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, and he was going up there to be comforted anyway, because she had covered her face. He didn't recognize her, and he turned in unto her, by the way, and said, "Go, I pray thee, let me come in to thee." For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. Oh. Because he thought
Plot twist.
that she was somebody that anybody could.
Right.
Oh, that's gonna be it.
Hey, mister, you got a dime?
So like,
Hey, mister, you want to spend some time?
Wow.
now you're gonna keep continuing and she's gonna like tell him that
Wait. She said, "What wilt thou give me
Dang.
that thou mayest come in unto me?"
Whoa.
dude, whoa.
But she knows. She knew.
She know now. She got a plan.
that's
She got a
nasty,
plan.
man.
She got a plan.
She's got a-
You not gonna give me your son?
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna get your seed.
Dang.
That's not right. That's disgusting.
Hold up.
Hey, no.
And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? In other words, I don't take checks.
Wow. That's funny.
Checks had minutes, you know, you're going to send me, you're going to promise that after we do what we do, that after a while, by the way, you're going to go back home, and then I got to wait for you to send me a kid. Give me something now. Say, tell somebody, say, give me something now.
Give me an IOU.
Tell somebody, say, give me something now.
Give me something now. Put it in writing.
He said, what pledge shall I give thee? He seems kind of interested, doesn't he?
Right. Well, what were you?
You know why? Because she put on the right rap.
That's
And he likes what he sees.
right.
Because the rap is kind of showing some things that he was going up to 10 at to be comfortable. Like, wow, this looks comfortable. What will I pledge to give thee? And she said, thy signet, which is thy ring, and thy bracelet, and thy staff. Now that's a whole lot. Your signet has a family crest on it.
Personal stuff. Yeah.
Your signet has a family crest. Like we like this is what you take some.
Right.
You're gonna write a letter and you pour some wax down, and then you put that ring on there so they know who it's from.
Right.
There's no doubts about who it's from because your signet is your signature.
Right.
That's where the word signature comes from.
Wow.
We don't wear rings and stamp wax anymore. We use a signature. But prior to using a signature, what was legal and binding was your signet. And not only did a signet attach you to a contract, but it attached everybody that has your name.
Yep. Yep.
So if you owe me 50 pence and you ain't got it and your signet is here, we're your brother.
I know that's right.
Boom, 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 boom. Come here. Whoa, I didn't do it. Is this your signet? Oh, that's my family crest. Well, then you owe us.
Right. Right.
Due and payable and collectible by virtue of this family. Listen, it's the family business. It's not personal. It's just business.
What's about to happen in that right?
You ready?
You're going to have to come back next week.
That's
Oh my God.
That's disgusting.
That's good
Listen. Listen.
You got
I need you to know how important it is, the value that is in a family.
Right.
This is something that Tamar understood
Yes.
because Tamar didn't ask
Right.
to be in the family. She was picked.
Right.
So because she was picked, she now is owed
The rights and privileges.
by Judah.
Right.
Everything that Judah is now a part of who she is because she got picked, she got connected. Let me explain to you what the family looks like. Give me Genesis. I'm done with this. I'll be back. 49. I need you to see this. You got Genesis 49?
Wait, nah,
Yes.
that's just,
You got Genesis 49?
nah.
You don't
You
got
don't
it?
have any. Oh, you don't have any phone.
Where's your phone?
I have a phone that's gonna have the app and everything.
Okay, download the app.
I'm gonna need you.
So, like, when we finish this up next week, I need to be with me.
Right.
Okay. This, I don't know about this one.
Listen,
It's the Bible.
I'm gonna read this and then I'll wrap it up for today, and then you're gonna get a little bit of it. You can get the rest of it next week.
Yes.
But I'm gonna close with something that's gonna close.
Like, I hope you notice before anything actually happens.
I need you to understand something, son.
Too late.
I need you to know. You don't have it though, right? You know how to app? You got the app. Don't download it now. Download it. Just read that. Everybody got it?
Got it.
What does it say?
49. 49 what?
This right on
Genesis 49 and what verse 10? Everybody got it?
Yes.
the
Scepter.
oh, okay, thank you. The scepter shall not.
You know what a scepter is?
The staff. Yeah,
What is a scepter?
the staff.
A scepter isn't a staff.
What is it?
It's close to, I mean, you get that right.
A scepter, who carries a scepter?
A king.
King of Pharaoh.
Only a king, only a ruler carries a scepter.
Oh, okay.
So kings, a scepter, what?
Shall not depart from Judah.
From who?
Judah.
The guy that we're talking about who becomes a tribe,
Right.
right? Read.
Nor a lawgiver from between his feet.
So a king and a lawgiver will always be in the lineage of who?
Judah.
Judah.
Right.
Read.
Until Shiloh.
Until Shiloh comes. You know who Shiloh is? Jesus.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
So this guy that ain't got no kids,
Right.
well, he's down to one because his first two, he had three. He's down to one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He has no one to carry his name. He's down to one child who ain't married. And he's nervous about that. We find out later, he don't know yet, but we find out later that Jesus is going to be born out of his lineage. Who identifies with his signet.
That's some big stuff.
Then not only will Judah have kids, but his kids are going to have kids, and 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 several generations later, Jesus is going to be born out of that same line. But right now, it don't look like it's going to happen because what happened to Air? Air's dead.
Right.
So it ain't going to happen through Air. And Onan. What happened to Onan? Onan didn't follow the family business. He didn't do what was right. Onan's dead. Jesus can't come through Onan. So the lion out of the tribe of Judah is Jesus. And Judah has some family problems right now.
Yeah.
Judah has some things going. Judah's wife is dead, but Judah is being comforted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though he has a family business to leave, Judah is getting with the boys on Thursday nights, and they're going up to shear the sheep. That's cold. Do you know why they say send Judah first?
I do.
Because Judah, as a tribe, we don't know this now, this will come later. Judah is known for praise.
Oh, that's it.
I'm trying to get to my seat. I gotta let you go. I know some of y'all got the word. Judah, we don't know this now because there is no Judah. It's just a man. There ain't no tribe yet. But later on, after a while, there's going to be a tribe. And this tribe is going to be known for praise. So much so, when they go into battle, the first thing they do is they send the tribe of Judah.
Right.
Because in order to precipitate victory,
Right.
they learned that victory comes out of praise.
Jesus.
We later, reading the Bible and seeing battles, we now don't wait till the battle's over. We shout now. We praise now. We give thanksgiving now. We adore and we lift up now. Because stuff is coming. Stuff that we got to get through. And if we praise him first,
Thank you.
we don't have to wait until we win. Oh, thank you for giving us the victory. We are in a condition and we create an environment prior to the battle.
Right.
We confuse the enemy. What they so happy about? I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't. It's not that they know something we don't. They know someone we don't. If you go into a challenge with a praise attitude, with a praise on your lips, that challenge is already defeated before it gets to you. And that insurmountable mountain is brought down because the presence of the Lord is here as a result of your invitation. What's your invitation? Praise.
Yeah.
Judah is known for praise. But that hasn't always been the case. I wrote this down because I didn't want to get the words twisted. Judah is known for praise. They have to practice and get that right to show us the way, to show us how to do it, to show us the practical application in our lives. Judah is known for praise. When we praise, we get Judah results. You understand this? Praise is born out of dysfunction. Judah hasn't always been the praiser that he is. Neither were his children or his children's children, the children after that.
Wow.
Judah could have been a man of sorrow. His first two children died as a result of it. He could have said, I'm done. I'm done with this. God killing my children. God killed his children personally. Any God that's going to kill my children, I'm not going to serve you. He could have been done. But Judah was a man of praise. And he taught his children not only obedience, but he taught them praise. That's attitude. It's one thing to do what God says, but it's another thing to be happy about it. Listen. If you get into the habit of thanking God for everything, when bad stuff happens, it don't look bad. Because you got the same attitude. Listen, if you get into the habit of walking with a, I don't care, follow me. If you get into the habit of walking with a praise on your lips, when somebody steps up to you and tries to do you wrong, they hear you afar off.
Yes. That's true.
Don't you know that happiness is, come along with me. Because I'm happy.
That is so true.
That's a contagious song.
Yeah.
You can't be depressed listening to that song. It ain't even holy. But it's happy.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That song make you want to dance. It make you want to touch your feet. It makes you want to step.
Yes.
Listen, you see somebody just ease on down the road. You can either say, look at that fool, or like, I wonder what they've been drinking. And then take out any more. People want what you got when you have a praise on your lips.
That's right. That's right.
Not to steal it. They don't want your wallet or your money. They want the source. Can I go and get whatever you got that's getting you through this economy, that's getting you through this presidency, that's getting you through the present? Listen, I'm talking about practical application of biblical truth. Judah teaches us practical application of biblical truth. That when you praise and understand that praise comes out of dysfunction, your family don't look so bad.
Thank you, Lord.
When you realize that praise comes out of dysfunction, you end up with a testimony. What's Judah's testimony? You can't tell it.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell it. How my family turned into a tribe. It wasn't going to happen. Matter of fact, it looked like it couldn't happen.
Right.
You don't know, like I know, dysfunction,
Jesus.
lack of cohesiveness, and what God can do with even that.
Yes.
If God can make something out of nothing, He can sure make something out of you. Everybody stand.